understand the struggles of the immigrant community here in Tampa. You know why we understand the struggles? Because our families live the struggles. And we're here today to support the dreamers who came to this country as children and have grown up as Americans. Some don't even speak their own native language. They are as American as my kids and as your children. We're here today to express our absolute outrage over Governor Scott's veto of House Bill 235. This is a bill that would have allowed the DREAM Act residents like this young man right here, Carlos Segovia, to obtain a driver's license. These young people were brought to this country. They were brought before the age of 16. They're trying to attend college. Some of them are serving in our military. They don't have a criminal record and they have so much to give to the state. With nearly 70% of Floridians, 70% of Floridians are in support of immigration reform. And this bill being passed overwhelmingly, it was passed overwhelmingly by both Republicans and Democrats in the House. And it makes me wonder, what state, where is Governor Ricardo Scott living? This is a state where there are Hispanics who contribute to this community every day. It's not hard to see that the governor is completely out of touch with our state and our diverse population, and that's a population that makes Florida great. This is a blatant slap in the face to my constituents in District 62 and to all of our Latino families across the Tampa Bay area. And this is a slap in the face that will sting long into the gubernatorial election, I promise you that. And with that, I would like to introduce to you one of the favorite sons of this Hispanic community, a man that has been an activist and a spokesperson and a voice of this community for many, many years. And that's Councilman Charlie Miranda.
Janet, before you leave, can you put your name and spelling on Facebook?
Janet Cruz, Janet C-R-U-Z.
Thank you, Janet. My pleasure to be here with you good people this morning. Let me say this. This is not, no one's asking for a handout. They're asking for a reaching hand. They're asking for one word, and the reason they came over to this great country of ours, the country of opportunity. When we speak about foreign affairs, we always say these countries have to have human rights, and we ourselves don't practice what we talk about. When we elected officials go throughout the world trying to negotiate better living conditions for the people throughout the world, we always say, let's talk about human rights and what those countries are doing for the underprivileged. But yet here, we continue to push down the same people we talk about and not worry about them. This is about common sense. This is about the reality that they've met every iota of the law. They're here to have the opportunity to drive. They're here so they can pay taxes. They're here so they can move on with their lives. And yet we have an opportunity that is falling apart by the wayside. We must change the way we look at these good people who come to this country for one word, and that's opportunity. My father came here in 1911 at age 11 years old with no one, and he was helped by two families in this community. Yes, he never had a car. Yes, we never owned a house, but that's history. These individuals here want an opportunity to drive so they can go get a job, so they can become just as much mainstream as you and I. And yet, when I signed this law, 235, we keep the oppression on good people that want to go to school, that want to do the right thing, that have no criminal record. I don't know what else to say other than common sense is maybe two words that have been forgotten way back in the times when they should have been remembered. We are doing this thing the wrong way. This is not about Republicans. This is not about Democrats. This is about human beings who want to stay here, work here, and be mainstream. They are dying for this country just like our men and women have died for this country for freedom. And yet we want to have oppression on this opportunity for them to have a driver's license, where they can be recognized. They have a picture on it. They can find out many, many things about these individuals. None of them that I know of created a crime. If not, they wouldn't be here today. Thank you very much, Janet. And now my colleague, very well respected in the school board, Susan Valdez.
Thank you very much, Charlie and Janet, for the opportunity to speak on behalf of our students. You know, we just came off of nearly 2 weeks of 4 graduations a day at the Florida State Fairgrounds. And it's been my pleasure and honor to ask these graduates to please stand so that I may confirm, or some of my colleagues confirm, their high school graduation diploma. And each of those children's faces, when you look at them, you do not see kids that are undocumented, alien, whatever we want to call them. We see smiling young bright faces making a difference with their smarts in our nation, in our state, and in our county. Tell our young folks like him, go out there, earn your degree, and come back home and give back to the community that helped raise you. I agree with my colleague Charlie. It's not a handout, it's a hand up. And that's what we do in education, is through an education, give students an opportunity for a hand up. And through education will only this nation will prosper. And considering that the face of this nation is changing, it is a huge, big mistake not being able to afford the young people who had no choice, who were brought here, who have been good model citizens in their schools, who in their communities, at their churches, doing community services and projects throughout their community. It is unfair that we teach them the glories of this nation, the politics of this nation, and the American dream, and we, the very same individuals that preach about it, are the same individuals who are yanking it from their feet. This is a huge mistake, and I agree, 2014, hey, it's right around the corner, and we need to do everything we can to support our students that have been good citizens, not in trouble, been here under the age of 16. Let's follow the president's role in making sure that our nation becomes the #1 educated nation again in the world. We're doing our people and our nation a disservice by not doing so. I'd like to give the mic back now to my representative and my dear friend, Representative Janet Cruz. Janet.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. And now I want to turn the program over to someone who lives this, someone who struggled, who just wants to go to school, who just wants a driver's license, who just wants to be an average Floridian and a young adult. And that is Carlos Segovia, who was born in Mexico City and came to this country when he was 1 year old. So listen to Carlos' story. Ask him the questions. He's the gentleman that's lived this. Come on in,
Carlos, can you first say and spell your name?
Carlos Segovia, Carlos Segovia. Well, I've been waiting since last October for deferred action, and after finally receiving it about 2 weeks ago, this happens. It's like another stop sign. It's another wall that I have to overcome. I've overcame a lot of obstacles in my life. My family immigrated here in the early 90s from Mexico City, seeking a better life like many others do. And they came here just to work. They came here to work in the fields. So for 11 years, they immigrated from state to state. It was from California to Florida, from Florida to Georgia, from Georgia to North Carolina, from North Carolina to Michigan. That was my whole life, that whole route. That was my whole life for 11 years. And most people really don't know about seasonal. They don't know that when orange season is over, the onion season starts in Georgia. So there was times where I didn't even go to school, where I missed the whole entire year of school, where I had to basically just not go to school at all, just straight to work. And I pretty much educated myself. What I learned through all that is that if you keep working hard and you set your mind to something, you can accomplish anything. But when there's barriers in your life and there's stop signs, constant stop signs, it's really hard to keep going, and it's really depriving and makes me frustrated and it makes me saddened that it not only affects me, but it affects all the other undocumented students that live in this state, of Florida. And that's just, I don't really know how to